Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of AC Discovery, my weekly Saturday show where I sit down and talk about anime and or comics. A couple weeks ago, I started my path down My Hero Academia after it had been recommended to me by many a friend, and I watched the first episode of that. And then one of the responses I got from my friend Pixel Brave, kind of one of the anime aficionados extraordinaire, Christian Puente. He kind of hit me up and said, oh, I should have watched the first two episodes because they kind of really work together back to back. And after watching the second episode today, he's absolutely right. Especially because there was a 2-week gap in there. I was going into it, I was like, oh crap, I don't remember like what happened in the first one. Fortunately, the second one picks up right where the first left off and does a good enough job kind of like recapping any of the crucial moments from the first episode that I definitely didn't feel like I was lost at any point in time. But it definitely is like the second part of a 2-part opening premiere kind of thing. So What It Takes to Be a Hero is episode 2 of My Hero Academia, and it picks up where we left off with our kind of young protagonist Izuku. Izuku, I don't know how his name is pronounced, Izuku, and his like hero and the hero of heroes, All Might, up on a rooftop, and Izuku has just asked him, can I be a hero even though I'm quirkless? And All Might basically says, nope, you can be a police officer, you can be something else, but also, before he even kind of gets that response out, he kind of deflates, and we get to see what All Might looks like in his like pedestrian form, because a few years ago he was in a battle and basically got damaged, and now he can only really be All Might like a few hours a day without completely jeopardizing himself and his own health. And so we get to see this very emaciated kind of character with the All Might deep voice, and All Might basically tells Izuku, no, but you could be, you need a quirk to be a hero, but you could be a cop if you wanted to. And yeah, cops get embarrassed because they usually get bad guys delivered to their doorsteps by people like me, but you can still do it and be fine. And so they kind of part their ways. Izuku kind of gets very distraught and upset. Meanwhile, the gassy bad guy that All Might caught in the last episode and put into a Coke bottle has escaped because of Izuku's school rival. He kind of kicks the bottle while he's walking down the alley, and he gets out. And the bottle was in that alley because when All Might and Izuku went like flying away from the scene of the crime, the bottle apparently fell out of All Might's pockets. And so the villain basically tries to engulf the rival Katsuki, and basically starts wreaking havoc again. And All Might is deflated, so he can't really step in and do anything. All of the other heroes that we've kind of saw in that first episode kind of convene on the scene and try and fight this guy, but none of their quirks really match up in a way that can do any damage to this guy. So Death Fist, I think, was one, and he basically tries to punch it, but his punch just gets kind of like sucked into the gaseous form. Meanwhile, like the Katsuki is basically like losing control of his flame power, and so there's fire all over the place. So the fire hero kind of starts like spraying water to try and maintain the scene. Mountain Lady tries to show up, but there's not enough room for her to do anything, so she has to basically like back away and just observe from a distance. And so all of this is happening while our hero Izuku comes upon the scene, and he's distraught, and he's like, I'm never going to be anything. All Might even said I can't be anything. So he's kind of really torn down. All Might shows up, and he's beating himself up and calling himself pathetic because he can't rise to the occasion and do what he needs to do to fight this bad guy again. And in all of this, we see Izuku just kind of like respond, and he just starts running towards the villain, even though he's quirkless and can't do anything. And he does manage to use his smarts to basically get at least enough of an advantage over the villain to give All Might the the inspiration to basically say, if he can run towards this thing, I can face my fears as well. And so he kind of powers himself up, even though he's kind of spent his hero time for the day. And he kind of comes in, delivers the Detroit Punch. And I love that All Might's, like all of All Might's powers are named after like the U.S. states, because it does kind of fuel his all-American kind of caricature. Anyway, All Might fights the bad guy off, and then and everybody's saved, and Izuku basically walks back and is like, I did something. I don't know why I did it. I don't know what. And Katsuki comes up and says, like, don't ever do that again. I didn't ask for your help. I was fine. I could have handled it. Don't think I owe you anything. Even though he kind of realizes that he does. And All Might shows up to Izuku after Katsuki leaves, and All Might basically says, you brought the strength out of me, so yeah, you can be a hero. And it's a nice little heartwarming end to the story. And then we hear Izuku kind of in his narration saying, this is how I became the greatest hero ever. So looks like that's the story we're going to get from My Hero Academia. Again, what I'm struck by from this episode most often is like the way it plays with humor and tonal shifts. There's lots of like just fun little like moments, visual gags that they play with that you didn't see in something like Death Note, of course, and just how bright and colorful this anime is compared to Death Note, which was so dreary and dour. So I'm already having a fun time kind of living in this world with these characters. So those are my thoughts on the second episode of My Hero Academia, What It Takes to Be a Hero. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.